Has anyone else noticed that the younger generations, especially younger little girls, just don't seem to have any sort of childhood anymore? I was born in 2003, and I honestly feel like we might have been the last sort of generation of kids to have a true childhood, and it makes me so upset to think about. I've kind of been thinking about this for a while, but today it just really stood out to me when I went to this place by my house called The Grove. I went to go get my medicine ball from Starbucks because I'm just so sick and not feeling well, and the amount of little girls online to get their Starbucks coffees, they're all head to toe dressed in either Lululemon or White Fox, talking about what they're gonna go get at Sephora, and I'm like, what is going on? I feel like this was such a big topic of conversation a couple years ago during the whole Sephora kid trend, but since then I feel like it's not really talked about, and it has gotten so progressively worse. These kids are dressing older, acting older, trying to like show off their bodies when they're literally 10 years old, pre-pubescent. Like, kids, they're so entitled because half of them walk around with their parents' credit cards. I don't know about y'all, but like when I was a kid, if I got handed maybe $20 to go walk around the downtown area when I was a kid, that was like the fucking best thing ever. Kids are walking around spending hundreds of dollars on their parents' credit cards, buying stuff to make them look and seem older, and it's just insane. Especially 90s and 2000 kids, like, we're so nostalgic and we think about our childhoods and the nostalgia of it all, and we miss it because we miss a time when phones weren't a thing and the internet wasn't a thing and social media wasn't a thing, and we could just be kids, like play outside, do whatever, play games, just be little kids.
It's just quite so sad that this is now the reality we live in. Kids are no longer allowed to be kids. Like they're growing way faster than they should. So why would a 10-year-old be needing $100? And you're saying, why is this one? You literally want to answer the parents. Why would the parents be giving that credit card to their underage children? I agreed. I was born in 2010, but I had a completely normal childhood. That's good. About 2012, I don't think anyone had a normal childhood. It's really sad. Hmm. I was born in the 90s, and I had such a good childhood. Okay, 2029, I had such a good childhood. Why does everyone hate a 10 to 13-year-olds? Like, look at what you're doing. It's the same influence. So we are being influenced by you, but you all hate on us. Imagine now. This is the person that I'm talking about. Look at what she's coming to chat comment. Why is even a 10-year-old with a phone to start with? Can we start with that? Why is a 10-year-old with a phone that is not being managed by anybody? A 10-year-old is on the internet watching videos of adults, commenting on videos of adults, and you expect that person to be a child? Come on, come on. So it's I think it still boils down to the parents. You have to parent your children. This is what happens when people that don't want to be parents are becoming parents. Right center. This is the
We did this
repercussion of
thing
it.
where I made, thank God, I can finally say the things that have been on my mind all school year. Okay. As somebody that taught high school and basically educating our new young adults, we should all be scared. Every last one of us should be scared. These kids cannot read, they cannot write, there is no type of comprehension skills, no type of critical thinking. They cannot do anything on their own. They expect everything to be taught to them. Well, I won't even say taught. They expect everything to be given to them. So in my class, we did this thing where I made them write once a week. So they would have some type of assignment where they would have to write at least a paragraph, meaning 5 sentences. 5 sentences. The amount of assignments that I got in with 1 sentence, 2 sentences, the amount of complaints I got with the whole 5 sentences, that's too much. Can we do 3? Isn't 3 considered a paragraph? Oh, baby. We are in for a wild ride, y'all. Every assignment that I gave them, I kid y'all not, I kid y'all not, every assignment that I gave them, there was several students that came to my desk and asked me to walk them through the entire assignment, the whole thing. But genuinely, the truth of the matter is everybody is failing these kids. Everybody. The school board with all these different rules, they're failing these kids. The principals or admin altogether, they're failing these kids, and they're failing the teachers because they're basically telling us that we had to just pass a child along just to keep these graduation numbers up. So everybody, oh, and don't get me started on the parents. Like, I would call and say, hey, your child is failing, and the first thing is, well, why didn't I know about this?
As a teacher, I taught for 2 years. I'll tell you that the parents are the number one problem. The parents. Don't even get me started with parents. Parents are the number one enablers. Parents don't want you to caution their children. Say, don't touch my child. Don't say anything to my child. Don't talk to anyhow to my child. It's the parents. It's the parents. The parents are the reason why this is happening. Parents, because they're the ones making all these educators, enforce laws that will favor, so that the parents will not come and be on their neck. Parents, 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 parents. I will say it till tomorrow. Parents, 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 parents. They're just lazy. Open their phones. They're writing essays in their text messages and in comment sections. They are doing research to argue online. They are starting home businesses. They are lazy and enabled. If they're even starting home businesses, it would have been better. See, I don't have a problem with, oh, you can't read, you can't write, but you are starting a business. It's even better. So that person might have an acumen for business. I don't have a problem with that. But I just hope that you have enough wisdom to sustain the business. You have wisdom to hire people that will run the business since you cannot run it. I just hope that's the case. Kids not wanting to write paragraphs or papers is not something new. It's sad teachers claim that students know nothing after being in their class. I don't know why the people my generation feel as if they were scholars in school when a lot of people in my generation didn't even finish. You see, this is a parent. This is a problem too. You see, I just said it about the parent in the problem. This is part of the problem. Like, people choosing to be blind to what the problem that everybody's screaming on about. They don't want to believe it. You see, and this is, oh, she even responded. She said, I genuinely could not make this up even if I had the chance. This is scary. Pay teachers more and defund Chromebooks. Let's listen to her. Come back.
I don't know nothing about that. And I ain't going to downtown Atlanta either. I don't know nothing about that. And I ain't going to downtown Atlanta either.
So you revisit this in 10 years when your DRs are using ChatGPT to complete your physicals. Okay, when your doctors are using ChatGPT to complete your physical, it's already happening. It's already happening. You don't have to wait too long. But what I've also noticed, when people that are not smart use ChatGPT, it's obvious. There's a way to go about it. Because if you're not smart, the kind of prompt you give ChatGPT, you have generic answers that everybody will sign in the same role, will having the same answer. But if you are smart, you know how to go about it. To have something that sounds, when ChatGPT gives you something to sound like it's coming from you. So it's easy to tell. If they cannot even read and write, how would they be able to know what ChatGPT? Maybe they'll just do copy and paste and take it like that and go and, oh my, oh, it's gonna get.
Watching how some millennials parent their kids makes total sense why Gen Alpha is the way Gen Alpha is. Earlier today, I was in the East Village, and I hear this woman behind me just scream, "No one owes you anything!" And I'm expecting that it's someone like AirPods in, on a phone call, hyping their friend up or whatever. Imagine my surprise when I turn around, and it's a woman with like 2 children. And these children were no older than maybe like 7. And I guess the kid was crying about something. Maybe he wanted to go somewhere. That's my projecting onto the kid from my own personal experiences of being a child. But this kid was not nearly as loud as that woman was. I didn't turn around because he was making a scene. I turned around because she was making a scene. Also, what do you mean you're telling your kid no one owes you anything? I would actually argue that as a mother, I'm not a mother, but as a mother, you would think that you owe your kid a lot.
I agree. Bam, 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 bamess. Yes, you owe your children. They didn't ask to be born. You were the one that felt you needed to be a parent. You were the one that brought them into this world. So you owe it to them to do right by them. Yes.
Thinking that they didn't even want to be born, you know? You forced them to be in this world. You owe them a secure, trusting relationship and the best experience of this world that you can provide them within your means and control. What do you mean you're telling your kid, like, no one owes you anything?
Imagine a parent telling that to your child. Imagine that the mentality you are making that child to build. As a mother, we owe our parents nothing, but we owe our children everything. We still owe our children, our parents. Let's not even start about that. My sister is a millennial and she's an awful mother. My mom and I constantly talk about how her youngest is gonna end up in jail. You see? Reminds me of the lady in Twitter complaining that her son trauma dumps on her too often and that he's being misogynistic for making her do all that emotional labor because she's a woman. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Hey. You know, I said it when we were watching the other video that parents are the reason why children are these Gen Alphas are turning out the way they're turning. Millennials, we are not doing a good job. In as much as we have lots of parents that are doing better because of the way our parents brought us up. Some millennials have started to do way better, but some are taking it to the extreme.
I'm gonna sound like a boomer when I say this. Wait, I have to shut the classroom door. But this next generation, they're effed. So I'm a substitute teacher and I've been at this school for like a month and a half now, so I know how they operate. And to be fair, not all kids are like this, but the disrespect, like they don't know how to put things away, they don't know common decency. Like, why are you trying to cheat right in front of me? Like, okay, and listen, I wasn't the best student, like, growing up either. I never cheated. But, like, it's just like, do you think I don't see you? Like, my desk is here. I can see everything you do. They're glued to their phones. They're either brain rotting here.
First of all, there are things that I see that happen in the Western culture. People that are supposedly the first world country, things that they allow in their schools that we as Africans, it leaves us dumbfounded. Like, what do you mean a high schooler is going into class with their phones? Like, what do you mean? And when a teacher is teaching, they're up on their phones. Like, what do you mean? In an African school, you wear your uniform, because first of all we wear uniforms in Africa. We wear uniforms to school, especially in my country Nigeria. Because let me even be speaking to my country. We wear uniform to school in my country Nigeria. Yes. And as for girls, if the schools they allow the girls to make their hair, you have appropriate style and you must stick to that style. You don't come to schools with your nails painted. You don't even wear artificial nails to start with. You don't wear lashes. You don't wear makeup. There's a way the girls are supposed to dress. There's a way the guys are expected to be dressed. The guys, there's a hairstyle that's supposed to be on the cut. You're not supposed to come and be dressing like, oh, all this hippie dressing is not allowed. And you're not talking about phones. They have their phones, but they leave their phones at home and go to school for the ones that the parents have given them. And what I've also noticed that parents in an African household is mostly the ones seniors that their parents buy phones from when they reach the age of 15, 16, 17, that their parents will give them phones. Some people wait till they even graduate, when they graduate from school, 18-year-old, before they give them phone. Because here everything your parents are the ones buying and paying for it. So you get, because no 18-year-old here is working, everybody there in school. You don't want to tell me they're on their phones and you are the teacher, you're sitting in class looking at them being on their phone. That will never happen in my country. Like as a teacher is in class, you on your phone. A teacher is in class. Nah, it will not happen. Nah. So when I see or hear that it's allowed in Western culture now, and you guys are claiming that you're a first world country, and you are watching your children deteriorate like that. Nah.
Or they're playing like Brawl Stars. It's fantasy season, so they're looking at their lineup, whatever. But I shit you not, like, it's just do your quiz first. Like, one of the kids was just like playing a game. He wasn't even trying to cheat. I'm like, bro, like, I'm not your fucking babysitter. Like, can you clean up after yourself? And keep in mind, that was organized this morning. Call me old, call me dated, but I just do not understand this generation. I am scared for the day Gen Alpha enters the workforce. Because I swear to God, they don't know how to do anything. Am I a boomer for thinking, like, why bother wearing your AirPods for like 5 minutes? Maybe even 5 minutes?
If they don't know how to do anything, so is that also saying that their parents are the one doing it for them at home? In a Nigerian household, when you get to a certain age, you start bathing yourself, you start washing your clothes. In fact, okay, let's say there are some families, not all, have washing machines. You learn how to use it and wash your clothes. There's something we'll do, doing the dishes, we'll pass it on to the one that is the youngest. So dishes in the household is one child that is the youngest that tend to do it. So long as you're that, you're about to be doing something. So why you tell me they don't know how to do anything? How? No. And your homework, your parents will make you on your neck till you do your homework. The serious parents. And I'm beginning to see where some parents in my country are copying all those that bad attitudes from. It's from Americans. They've been watching too much American TV. That's why some parents are beginning to behave. You now start hearing the thing, and US, they're not doing this. You cannot copy the good one. It's a bad one you want to be copying. I don't blame them. I do not blame them at all. I've noticed if the answer isn't right in front of them, they won't problem solve. It's lots of learned helplessness. Wow. Imagine that. Girl, I'm 25 in college, and the amount of ChatGPT and subscriptions these students pay to cheat their way through is concerning. The thing is that they will still graduate and now look for work. You see that layoff that we're complaining of, oh, the companies are laying people off. They will even employ them to start with. Because before you get employed, there will be one-on-one interviews, right? You have to orally answer the questions that you have been asked. So let's say how they'll use ChatGPT. I know some people will still find a way to use ChatGPT, but when you're giving ChatGPT answer, it's obvious because if you are not smart, that's how you use ChatGPT or give ChatGPT answer. It's very obvious. You sound robotic. It's a shame because they are so tech savvy and the potential is there, but then I see things like this. Not all are tech savvy. Of course, they are tech savvy, but they're not all of them are not using it for the right reason. Some are just using it to perpetually online, combating on the comments.
So I had picked my son up from a Halloween party on Friday, and seeing these teenagers, these little Gen Alpha kids operate in the wilderness, it's really weird. It's really weird. These kids are fucking weird. And I ain't trying to sound like that old head is like, oh, back in my day, my generation, but like they are fucking weird. So first of all, it's Halloween. I dropped them off at the. My wife dropped them off. She was like, none of the kids had costumes on. They out there just trying to be cool. All right. Then I pick them up, and they just all standing around. They just standing around. Nobody dancing. Nobody having a good time. Hell, ain't even no alcohol around. Hey. They just stand up it's like they group up together to stand around and like be on their phone. If they do dance, it might be a little TikTok dance here or there, but they not grabbing walls and catching ass and holding their partner up while he over there. She throwing it back on. Like, we was crazy, bro. We was crazy in high school, having a good time, freak dancing, the Pretty Ricky, giving lap dance, all type of shit, eating air pussy, all that good shit. But I have a theory as to why, I can't blame these kids, man. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. See, millennials were the last generation that were able to kind of grow up and just have fun. Like, if you went to a party, you went out or you whatever, like, it was like you didn't know what happened unless you was there. And then even if you wasn't there and everybody telling a story, it's gonna be 5, 6, 7 different stories. And hell, you could be like, that wasn't me. I ain't get my ass whooped. That ain't how the fight went. If you got your ass whooped, hey, it was word of mouth. You know what I'm saying? You was out there dancing, being a little freaky, cheating on your boyfriend. It was word of mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like it was different. You know, we had the freedom to express ourselves. We had the freedom to come up with some crazy dance or wear some wild outfit. We had that freedom because we knew it wasn't gonna be on the internet 5 minutes later. Somebody was gonna stick a fucking camera phone in our face and the flash was gonna be on and we danced with some girl. These kids, they either, that's why they all dress alike. They all do the same little popular TikTok routine dances because they're afraid to step outside of their box to be themselves or get creative or just get wild or some shit like.
And you see that being afraid to be themselves, people don't want to be, tagged the odd one out. And we are getting to that point where everybody is the same, everybody's sounding the same, everybody's dressing the same, everybody's saying the same thing, everybody's going to the same places. It's already even happening. Nobody wants to, come up with something else that is not unique. Growing up, I used to hear a lot of how people I don't want to wear what everybody is wearing. But these days now, people are afraid to not wear what everybody is wearing or say what everybody is saying. Just being following the crowd, everybody going with the crowd. Is it going to get better? I don't think so. But as time goes on, we adapt. It becomes the norm. It becomes the reality. Because these people will in turn become parents, and they will not parent their children, and their children will go on to beget their own children. So you can imagine. All right, guys. See you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.